Coming up next, I'm going to introduce you to Matt Nelson, the teen founder of We Rate Dogs. And then I'll tell you what to do if you have a crazy boss. We'll take your calls and your chats, and it starts now. I'm coming to you live from Ramsey Solutions Studios in Nashville, and you're joining a conversation here on YouTube about what you were created to do. Yeah, that's right. You were actually created to do something. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about where you can do that, because there's multiple places you could do that, and then how to get there. So we're talking about meaningful work here. Most people just think about work as a career. You got to find a career. No. I'm not interested in your career. I'm interested in your contribution. Meaningful work where you show up on a Monday with the juice. You're excited about it because you're doing work that, listen, you're really good at, that you love to do, and that produces a result in the world for people that matters deeply to you. This is the sweet spot or contribution zone. So think about this. This is how you figure out that why at work or that purpose. If you long to do something that really, really matters, you could call it a dream job if you want. You use what you do best. That's your talent. To perform work that you love, that's passion. To produce results that matter deeply to you, that's mission. Oh, there you go. I mean, it's that simple. So many people think that it's so hard to figure out and there's only one thing you're supposed to do with your life, and that's not true, and that creates all this angst and all this confusion. And folks, that's what we're talking about here. So there's really, three types of people, or four. I guess we could add a fourth type. You don't know what you want to do with your life. Try to figure it out. Ken, what do I do with my life? Call me. Then there's the person who says, I know what I want to do, and I'm not quite sure how to get there. Call me. And there's the people who know what they want to do. They know how to get there, but they're terrified. And I get that. I've been there. I've been paralyzed by fear and doubt. Call me. There's another group that they're not even thinking any of that. They're just in a miserable situation at work. You're just trying to stay afloat. You're in a crazy, toxic situation. You're going, Ken, I need my income, but it's driving me crazy. That's another group we talk to a lot. Throw another group out. Ken, I know what I want to do. I've got the dream, but my spouse or my partner's not on board. Family's not on board. And we'll talk the relationship side of this. So a little bit later in the program, I've never taught on this before, Madison, Joe. I've never taught on it. I'm going to teach on it. What do you do if you have a crazy boss? I mean, how many of you out there have got just an absolute maniac for a boss? I mean, they have no clue how to deal with people. They're making everybody's life miserable, your life miserable. They're just clueless. They're like a bull in a china shop. So we're going to teach on that today. If you want to call in on that, we'll also take some calls on that. But first, how about a really inspiring story that really will help you see that your dream can be a reality? A kid by the name of Matt Nelson founded a company. This is from CNBC, story they ran. Founded a company called We Rate Dogs, and he was a teenager. Now it's a booming business. And it is also raised, not only is it a booming business, this is fun, it has a charitable component to it and has raised $1.3 million for dogs in need. Just give an example. Talks about a lady who was deep in debt, and she had a 2-year-old rescue pit bull that was hit by a car. Dog could barely move, needed special surgery. She's got no money. And so they started to spread the word on social media. Will you help us raise the money to help pay for my dog's surgery? They raised a few $1,000s, but it wasn't enough. Then they reached out to We Rate Dogs founder Matt Nelson. One post, 30 minutes later, they'd raised $18,000. The popular social media account We Rate Dogs is known for its adorable pictures of dogs. And then they say, funny things and sweet things and all that about dogs. And then they rate the dogs, and all of them always exceed a perfect 10. So it's not a real judgment of your dog. It's just kind of like a popularity contest. But the account has shared over 170 fundraisers for dogs in need with its nearly 12 million followers across social media. And he initially started the account on Twitter just to make people laugh, but he got so many followers in the first night that it has now grown to about 9 million followers over the next several years, and now, of course, 12 million followers. And because of his platform, selling merchandise, posting branded content, it's making big bucks. You hear about this all the time, these social media influencers. But what I like about this kid is that he's not taking pictures of himself in a fake jet. By the way, Madison Joe, I read this morning, HBO's coming out with a new documentary. And it's all about how these social media influencers making big bucks. They're making big bucks on fake stuff. They're taking pictures in a backyard, somebody's backyard, and then they'll tag the Ritz-Carlton in some, exotic location. And we're all like, oh, she's doing a photo shoot at the Ritz-Carlton. No, she's in a backyard. And her mom wants her to come in and do her laundry. It's a true story. They've exposed these people that will go on a fake camping trip in order for a camping company to then gift them with a trip and all this stuff because they got so many followers. We are following a bunch of fakes. And this really irritated me about how many bots are out there and people are buying $2,500 to get you a bunch of followers. I want everybody to know that the followers on our accounts at Ramsey Solutions, all the personalities, have been scrubbed by our team. We got no bots. No bots. Real people. So anyway, love this. Here's why this is great. So Matt goes out, and he's not trying to be a fake influencer. He goes out and he does something he loves. This guy loves dogs. I just know he loves dogs. He loves dogs. Who doesn't love pictures of cute dogs? Somebody out there should do the same thing with cats. I don't like cats, but a bunch of people like cats. They should do it. I mean, what's going on here? He did something that he loved. He just kind of put it out there, just tested it. He didn't get all worried about it. He didn't hire a consultant. He just did it. And it's booming. Really great stuff. Love, love, love that story. 844-747-2577, 844-747-2577. Coming up, I'm going to teach on my boss's crazy help. If you got that problem, we'll take a few extra calls today. Madison, let's open up a line or two. If we got somebody watching right now and they got a crazy boss or coworker and they feel like they're about ready to lose their mind, I want to talk through that with you, your specific situation, but I'm going to teach on this, kind of an overarching, hey, what do we do in that situation? Because that can be a very miserable situation. But let's go to the phones first, 844-747-2577. That's the number, 844-747-2577. Let's go to Cheryl in Chicago, Illinois. Cheryl, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. How are you?
Cheryl, I am living the dream. What's going on with you today?
Good. Well, thanks for taking my question.
Sure.
I just talked to the Dave Ramsey in his show last Thursday with a budget question.
Good.
So here I am with you this Thursday.
I love it. You got your money in order. Now we're ready to chase the dream.
Yeah.
Good.
So I'm 48 years old, and I've been teaching middle school math for 13 years. I earned my master's degree this past June, but I'm very unhappy with my job for several reasons, one of them being my salary. When I earned my master's, I didn't get moved up the pay scale at all. There was no increase in pay because of that. And just this school year, I reached the $60,000 mark, and I feel like I'm at a dead end as far as my salary because it only goes up 1% a year.
Yep.
But in addition to the salary issue, I feel frustrated daily because of the workload and policies that put me in a position to not hold my students accountable.
Yep.
And so over the last couple of years, I pursued a career change by connecting with a consulting group called Royals Consulting, and it was founded by a former teacher who changed her career too. And I've had several one-on-one coaching sessions with her, and I also paid her to revise my resume and cover letter. And so I've been applying to ed tech jobs, such as being a math curriculum writer for an online learning platform and things like that. And I've applied to countless jobs, but haven't landed any. And even still, I'm not positive that I would feel fulfilled in a job like that. Plus, the job postings don't state the salary, so I'm not positive that my salary would go up if I landed a job like that. So I've been in limbo regarding my career for 6 years is what I'm saying. And I looked into your philosophy about what I'm good at, what I love, what my mission is, and to find the sweet spot. And I also took your quiz, and it indicates I'm in the wrong world, wrong place.
Yeah.
So so to answer those questions, I'm good at teaching, explaining, helping, listening, doing math, and interpersonal skills. And then my passions are helping end child sex trafficking. As a matter of fact, I volunteered for an anti-trafficking organization called Reclaim 13 for 6 years now, but a paid position in that would be like half to 2/3 of what I make now. So in addition to that, one of my passions is just being a mom. I love psychology, math, and also Zumba, like anything with dancing and music I love. So my question is, can you please help me find some direction?
Sure, absolutely. So I love that you filled out the Career Clarity Guide, and I know you're new to my stuff. So the sex trafficking thing, that would fall under mission, results that matter most to you. You want to put an end to sex trafficking. You want to rescue kids, girls, women, whatever, boys, men, the whole nine yards. That's because you remember as you walk through that Career Clarity Guide, mission asks 3 big questions. Who are the people you most want to help? What's the problem you want to solve? Solution you want to provide? So that is definitely a missional thing for you. And the question becomes, is that a professional mission or is it personal? Because that could be both and. So you may say, you know what, I can't do that full time, but I can volunteer, I can donate to organizations that are helping stop.
And I have been doing that.
So that's great.
And I would make it a career if, I could live on that income.
Well, you need to find out more. Here's what's really going on with you. We're going to go through the sweet spot with you. But having heard everything you've said so far, you're on the outside and you need to get on the inside. That's what's really going on. You've been applying, you paid somebody to coach you up and all these things, but you didn't really make deep connections, and that's why I teach the proximity principle. It says, in order to do what Cheryl wants to do, she's got to be around people that are doing it in places where it is happening. And part of the issue, too, is you're not quite sure what you want to do. Or you are, but you haven't really named it and gotten confident about it. So we got a lot going on here, so we got to dig.
Yes, we do.
But so far, am I analyzing your situation pretty close?
Yeah, you're right on the nose.
Okay, great. What would you do tomorrow, Cheryl, if the salary was there and you knew you couldn't fail? What would you try? I think you know the answer, and I want you to say it.
I do. I think this was like 2007. I called a production company in California to see what it would take to have my own TV talk show about parenting, where I'd have different segments about education, because I'm a teacher, math, sports, single parenting, and things like that. So the answer that they gave me was you have to move to California to pull that off. And at the time, my kids were little.
Yeah.
So that would be great to have my own talk show. I would love that, and I would have also loved to start a nonprofit for the anti-trafficking, which the founder of this Reclaim 13 has done. And so if the money was there, I would love to be working for Reclaim 13. So
wait a second. First thing it was, I want to be a parenting content provider. I want to be a parenting expert content provider. That was the first thing. Then you brought in the working for the sex trafficking nonprofit. So which is the answer?
Yeah, because I do have a passion for both.
Yeah, but what if I told you can do both?
Oh, that'd be great.
Now, you can't work full time for both, but you can be a volunteer, a donor for that organization or whatever, or join one that's more local. I don't know if that's a local organization or not.
It is. It's very local. Yeah, I go to the safe house where the girls are.
Here's the reality.
From trafficking.
If I made you choose between the two, I'm going to give you, let's just have some fun, $75,000 a year in doing both, working for the sex trafficking nonprofit, or you've created your own parenting content piece. Which one? You can't have both, but you had to choose one. Which one do you choose?
I would do the parenting so that I could just volunteer for the Reclaim 13. That
ding,
way
ding, 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 ding. Yay! Now you're with me.
Okay.
Passion doesn't always have to be manifested in the professional setting. You can have multiple things you love to do. You can have multiple missions that you're fired up about. And you are. So it's a both and. So,
Okay.
great news. You don't have to move to California to create content. And what I would do is I would recalibrate the television show dream for now and say, well, what would it, that's the top of the mountain. That would be just an absolutely sensational dream come true. But what would have to be true for you to even have that opportunity anyway? Well, the only way somebody gets a parenting television show is when they've built a platform and a tribe. They've already got an existing platform that people are consuming said content, and they got a large tribe that validates the message. And so somebody goes, she's got a huge tribe over here, and so we want to give her a television show. That's how that happens anyway.
Okay.
So now we go, well, then what needs to be true to even have the opportunity for that to happen? And so it's pretty simple. Okay? You have to begin to develop your content, and then you got to share it, and then you scale it. That's how that works. And then eventually you monetize it. But right now, you could start doing a podcast right now. You could start a YouTube channel right now. Very little money. We're talking less than $150. You can launch a podcast and start doing stuff. You can open up you can start a blog that it all comes there. You have written content, spoken content, and a YouTube channel. And you get it out there and you begin to do this. You do this on the side. So you're going to have to suck it up a little bit in the teaching position and go, you know what? I've got some frustrations here. I'm not going to make a bunch of money here, but I've got a stable situation. Or you could change. You could go to another day job. You could say, well, you know what? Turns out with all my teaching experience, with this qualification and this qualification, I could become a corporate trainer, go into HR training, corporate training, and make 80 grand, 90 grand. Still a day job, but I'm making more money and helping fund what I want to do over here eventually. So this is day job, dream job. And so the way you're going to get there is the way I got here. I went to WDUN, which is a local radio station. I paid my way on. I had to pay $250 an hour. And I started on a Saturday radio show. Then I spent less than $100 and I started a podcast, and I had Joe Hankin, who's still my guy here on the board, and he would take the show and he would load it up into a podcast for me. So I had a radio show for an hour, and he turned it into a podcast and a weekly podcast.
Okay. I'm taking notes. I'm typing this down as you're talking.
Good. So here's what you need to do first. I was just coaching somebody the other day on this. What you need to do first is begin to, I want you to create a top 10. But I'm about ready to drop some gold right now. So anybody out there that's watching, anybody else that's watching right now, you want to get into content, I'm about ready to I should be charging crazy money for what I'm about to say. This is so good. Here it goes.
Okay, thank you.
Number one, I want you to make a top 10 list of parenting content that you like to consume. Could be a blog, could be a book, an author, television show personality that talks around this kind of stuff. It doesn't matter. And if you don't have a top 10 and you only got a top 3, that's fine. But who do you respect? What content do you listen to, watch, or read, and you go, that's spot on? That's what I want you to make a list of, because you need to begin to see how this works. How do you develop your own voice? How do you develop your own content? By consuming the stuff that you agree with and that moves you. Are you tracking with that theory?
I am.
Yeah. Now, once you get the list, I want you to double down on consuming it.
Okay.
And for a 30-day period, I want you to listen, read, watch everything you can from these, whatever it's a 5, 10, 7 people, whatever. And as you begin to consume, I want you to reflect while you're consuming, reflect after you're consuming, and begin to write down your own thoughts. They said this, and I would add this. And then let yourself go, ooh, that's such a good thought. Who's a parent that I know in my world? I gotta get a hold of them and share this thought with them. And when you start to see what content really fires your soul, now you're getting a clue into what you want to share. Now, here's the good news. You've already dreamed a lot about a type of a TV show you want to have. So that content and the people you wanted to touch and how you wanted to get to them, that will even become more clear as a result of the homework assignment I just gave you. So that's the develop stage. You got to develop. And the way you develop is really get clear and strategic on what you consume. Okay?
Okay.
Now, then you begin to start to say, all right, I'm going to start a podcast, a YouTube channel, and I don't have to go public with it, but I'm going to at least start talking about stuff that I get fired up about. And your voice will come out that way. And that's how you begin to get it out there, develop it, share it, refine it, and then you commoditize it. Okay? But that's the process. And that's all you need to do. But you've got to stay in the day job or find another day job in the meantime, because this is going to take a while. 844-747-2577. Rebecca's up next in Albany, New York. Rebecca, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. Thank you so much for taking my call. I actually reached out to you earlier this week, and I am just in a dilemma trying to figure out what to do next with my career. I am a freelance interpreter, and predominantly in the past, most of my work has just been through agencies, but I have a part-time job where I get a W-2 rather than a 1099, and that part-time job allowed us to work from home during the pandemic, but that is coming to a close pretty soon. So I either have to go back to traveling about 3 hours from my home twice a month to stay for a couple of days to get my hours in there, or there is another company that does the same thing that would allow me to work from home permanently. However, I would lose my flexibility of scheduling and have more committed hours and possibly evenings and weekend work. And I'm just kind of torn because I'm not sure what is the right decision to do for my family and for my career.
What's the trade-off if you don't take this new opportunity, which could, it's going to take some flexibility for you. Take some flexibility away from you. But what if you don't take that? What could be the other trade-off if you're out there looking for something else? Because the one thing's coming to an end, and so then we go, okay, now I'm going to have to do the travel. So I know that I'm traveling away, and that's going to take me away. But then I got this other thing where I can stay at home, but it may mean I got to work sometimes, and the kiddos have to get. You see what I'm saying? Like, what's the real trade-off? What's the real negative? To when you look at both of them, there's negatives for both. Which negative is greater?
Right. I feel like the negativity of losing my flexibility is greater, but my husband doesn't like when I'm away. So that's we both see it a little differently.
All right. That's exactly what I wanted to know. All right. So then we got the hubs who doesn't like it when it's your way because you're the CEO of the house. When Stacy's away, I don't like it either because we men, we're just big babies when it comes to trying to handle the household like the women do. We just are. I'm not knocking on men. I'm a dude, okay? But I'm saying when Stacy's gone for 2-3 days, I just feel like I'm screwing something up. You know what I mean? I'm just like waiting for the shoe to drop. So that's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real thing. But I think what you're doing is you're going, well, I may have to. And I'm going, well, we don't know if you're going to have to work nights or weekends or not. We really don't know that. They're saying it might happen. How often would it happen?
Well, they do a new round of scheduling every 6 weeks. So every 6 weeks, my schedule could potentially change based on their needs, but they're just very, we don't know. It could
I get
maybe.
It, but let's play this out.
Yeah.
Let's play it out. Let's say that it shifts to a weeknight thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know enough to say it would go from 5 days to 5 weeknights, or would it be a mix and match? Tuesday and Thursday.
It would be a mix and match.
Okay, so let's just play this out. Well, let's say that you go from 5 days a week, and we're loving that because you're at home.
Mm-hmm.
But then they go to, well, we need you Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights. That's 3 nights that you're working.
Mm-hmm.
How's your hubs but you're there. You're in the house. Now you're working,
right.
But you're there. You're there during the day, so you change your day schedule a little bit. I mean, let's play that out. How's that going to affect the family negatively if you have to work a few nights?
Well, me and my husband are also part-time youth pastors at our church, so it would affect if it wasn't consistent on the nights that I had to work, like if they threw in a night that I have to work when we typically have youth group.
Yeah, but if it was just you, is the youth group going to fall apart if it's just him that night?
I would I know logically no, but I'm a need to be needed kind of person.
Well, that's your problem. But the point of the matter is that I think here's what this comes. I'm trying to help you see all the practical because you're up in your head.
Right.
And I'm trying to get it all out of your head and let you see. I think you got to do what's best for you and your family.
Right.
That's the answer. And you're looking for me to tell you, if it were me, I think the 2-hour drive or whatever it is a couple times, I think you want to be more at home. And I think that your kid, how old are your kids?
We don't have any children yet, just our youth group.
Oh my gosh. Oh, this is a total different deal. I thought you had kids for some reason. I just projected that onto you. I'm sorry. I would take the job where you're at home more. That's what that's what your hubs loves. You don't have any kids yet. I think he'd rather have you there. You're in the house working a few nights a week. And it seems like it's a more stable situation too, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're still flexible. You don't lose flexibility. If you're working nights, you got your whole day wide open.
Right.
So help him do youth pastor stuff on those days. If you got to work on a Wednesday night, then do stuff during Wednesday that will help the Wednesday night go smooth without your presence. You're overthinking this. Take the best thing for you, the best stability thing, and you still have flexibility. That's what I think. There it is. All right. Look, folks, I love those things, the practical stuff, but that's what you got to walk through. This is just good old-fashioned pros and cons, and get out of your head. I'm happy to be that person for you, but if you don't want to call me, you got to have someone in your life where they'll shoot you straight and they have no emotions on it. That's all that happened right there. But you got to get it out. Go, I've been bouncing around inside my head, and it's confusing. And then when you get it out and you talk to somebody, it's usually either really clear, or in this situation, it's like, okay, if it's 50-50, there's got to be one deciding factor that's better, and the not traveling and being around the hubs more sounds like that's better for your relationship, so that's what I'm always going to pick. 844-747-2577. When we come back, I'm going to get in the chat room, and I'm going to teach on what to do if you've got a crazy boss. You don't want to miss that. This is the Ken Coleman Show.
We were drawn to Christian Healthcare Ministries because we both had young families and we wanted to have more children. And we had also just started a real estate company and needed to find healthcare coverage that would meet our needs.
We were attracted to CHM because of its low monthly costs and the ability to negotiate medical costs down.
Established in 1981 and accredited by the Better Business Bureau, CHM is here to meet the needs of your growing family or small business. Check us out at chministries.org.
We absolutely believe in it.
All right, welcome back. Hey, if you want to fire a question in the chat room, if you're watching us live, and we are live on YouTube right now, but for those of you watching later, right now is 12 Eastern Standard Time, and we get calls from all around the globe. So if you're watching around the globe and you want to dive in and talk, come on, let's go. Just figure out your time difference, and the phone number is 844-747-2577 right there on the screen. And give us a call. You can also submit your question via the chat room. So let's go to the chat room. Kathy 3007. I always love those names, Joe, because it's like, I have ADHD, and I always wonder, I want to talk to Kathy, and I want to go, why 3007? This is fascinating to me. I got a lot of friends that'll do the old number. You know what? My colleague, Chris Hogan. Guy's website, chrishogan360.com. His social media name, Chris Hogan 360. I asked him one time, why? What's the 360? I honestly can't remember what he told me. It wasn't very inspiring. Don't you all tell him I'm making fun of his social media name. He's very big, and he sits 3 feet away from me. We sit right next to each other here at the Ramsey Solutions Worldwide headquarters. One of our web guys is out there. Have you ever wondered that? Like, why it's Chris Hogan 360? Have you ever asked him? Yeah, I need to ask him again because it was such a...
I know why.
You know why?
Yeah, because there's a football player named Chris Hogan. So ChrisHogan.com was already taken.
No, I know that.
Yeah.
But he chose 360, and I need to know what's...
Oh, because that part I don't know. I guess because of math or something.
I need to know. Just like I want to know why Kathy chose 3007. These are things, folks, that the struggle's real when you have ADHD. I just want you to know, and I'm not medicated. So this is what happens. Unfortunately for you people, you're watching the show, and I just burned 2 minutes on Kathy's chat name, Kathy3007. All right. Anyway, should I leave a secure job for another job with more opportunity but lower pay? I'm scared to make the move during the pandemic. Okay, forget the pandemic. I get why you're scared, but let's take that off the table. That's not a part of the decision. The decision is, I've got a secure, stable job. Is that really true? Can we just be honest for a second? Folks, listen to me. How secure, how stable is your job? I'm freaking people out right now. Now people are going, oh, geez, man, I don't know. But I'm not trying to keep you up tonight. I'm just saying, like, COVID came out of nowhere. And I guarantee you there were millions of people that got laid off or furloughed, and they thought before COVID, I got a secure, stable job. No, you don't. Oh, wait a second, Ken. I want to push back a little bit. You've got a secure job. You work with Dave Ramsey. The guy's been around forever. He's a legend. Your company's got no debt. You didn't lay anybody off during COVID. Your job is secure. Is it? Let me start acting like a total buffoon on this microphone and watch how quickly I'm not secure. Do I make my point? Watch me start saying and doing stupid stuff in this building, and I promise you, I'm not secure. So let's get rid of this idea. All right. Here's the question. I've got a job now, Ken, and I'm kind of maxed out. That's what I'm reading between the lines. I've got an opportunity for another job. It's lower pay right now, but the opportunity is greater. So what that means is you've hit your lid. Okay? You're up against the ceiling in your job now. This other job's got a ladder. So my answer is always, I'm okay with you taking a pay cut if it does not put you in a dire emergency level financial situation. If you can plan for it, which is save or sacrifice, if you can do those two things and absorb the pay decrease because it's temporary and I'm now getting on a ladder where I can grow, go, Kathy, go. We go from Kathy 3007 to Maverick Maven, the winner of today's Ken Coleman Show chat room name. We should have an award for that, Joe. Should I take a job that tells me in the interview that I should not expect to receive a raise or promotion for at least 3 years? Okay, again, I don't know because I don't know where you're going. So let me reframe your question. Hey, Ken, I've got a job opportunity, but in the interview, they told me I'm not going to receive a raise for 3 years, but this is where I want to be, and this is going to get me on the right ladder. Should I do it? The answer is yes. But if it's just a job, it's just a day job, and I'm not going to get a raise for 3 years, I'd say no, tell them to pound sand. So again, it's like, I'm okay with a sacrifice. And in this situation, a sacrifice would be you're not going to get a raise or promotion for 3 years if it's the ladder that I need to be on. But if there's a better ladder, I'm willing to be patient and say no to the good so I can say yes to the best. That's where that comes from. All right. I was thinking about this morning. I thought, we get a lot of questions and we get a decent amount of calls. I should say a lot. We get a few calls and questions and stuff on social media where somebody's in a really toxic environment. But we don't get as many calls as I think we should. So I'm going to teach on this, but I'm also going to say, here's how you can call in and we're going to protect you. Because some of you people out there are working for absolute lunatics, megalomaniacs, unhealthy children. They treat you like crap. They treat everybody else like crap. Some of you work for the Seagull Leader. You know what a Seagull Leader is, Joe?
No.
A Seagull Leader is a leader that flies in makes a bunch of squawking noise, craps on everybody, and flies away.
Nice.
You've never heard this before, Madison? I'm telling you, people are watching right now going, that's my leader. I mean, that's what they do. All right, everybody's fine. We're on the beach having a good time. All right, and here it comes. Quack, 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 flies in, hovers over everybody, makes a bunch of noise, craps, and then leaves. This is more common than you realize, Joe. So what I'm saying is, Madison and Joe have promised me we will change your name. And this could be fun. Let's say your name is Herb and you've always wanted to be John. Call the show. Tell Madison, I've got a crazy boss or I've got a crazy teammate and I don't want anybody to know. And so what you can do is you have fun with this. So you go from being Herb, not to take a shot at anybody named Herb, but if you wanted to be named something else, Mitchell, then we'll call you Mitchell. And if you live in Sheboygan, Wisconsin, but you've always wanted to live in West Palm Beach, Florida, you can be from West Palm Beach, Florida. So we can bring in a little bit of fantasy to this, Joe, if we want, right? We go, okay, change your name, change your location, and you can tell me, Ken, I got to tell you something. I got some crazy stuff happening at work. I need some help. So we haven't had a lot of those calls because I understand why. So I'm telling you, if you've got a crazy work situation, it's desperate, it's not even funny. I'm having some fun right now, but you're in an emergency situation, call me. All right, so now, let me teach on this because there's some practical steps. If you've really seriously in a really toxic, unhealthy situation, you've got a crazy boss, a hateful boss, a jerk, a bully boss, whatever. What do? The first thing we've got to do is we've got to get perspective. So write this down. Get perspective. So here's what perspective could be. Perspective could be, I can't walk from this job today. I think there's a lot of you that are in this situation. I can't walk today. I financially can't. So we got to get perspective. We got to go, I need this right now. I need it financially. I don't want it. I want to take a 9-iron out of my trunk and club this dude upside the ear. I get it. Can't do that. Number one, we need the job. Number two, we don't want to go to jail. That puts a crimp in the whole dream job situation. So let's get perspective. What is your reality? Can't leave today. Maybe not be able to leave for a while due to maybe some contract. I don't know. Get perspective. Just go, okay, take a deep breath. This is my reality right now. Now, once we get perspective, we get a plan. And in getting a plan could be, all right, how do I get out of this situation? How do I apply for something else? Realizing that company may call my boss and ask for a reference, and that boss thinks I'm the biggest loser on the planet. Like, this is real. And this kind of stuff we'll talk about in a phone call. But we got to get a plan. How would we mitigate for that? I talk to people all the time about that. You use the proximity principle, we use connections so that we go this way over here and it doesn't make us look like a big jerk and we don't have to throw this current crazy boss under the bus. These are real things. We got to get a plan. Plan could look like, I got to figure out another day job or 2 or 3 that I can actually do. I just kind of fell into this job. Ken, I'd like to know the dream job. So if I'm going to leave this crazy boss, I can at least make a strategic move and get on the ladder in another day job that gets me positioned for the dream job. You guys tracking with me? We got to get a plan. Perspective is 1, plan is 2. Okay? Because when we get that plan, okay, and here's what that does. It allows me to persist, to persevere. Perspective, plan, persevere. Because there's a timeline. Sometimes we know it or we don't know it. And so now we've got to go, okay, no matter how I feel, no matter what I'm thinking, I've got to persevere and stay until I can hit the eject button, and then I'm out. Okay? So that's the basic 3-part plan of 3-part strategy of how do I deal with a situation here? Because you'll notice that in none of the content that I just gave did I say that you need to sit down with the crazy boss and go, can we work this thing out? Let me tell you why I think it's a bad idea. And this is with the giant assumption that you're not a big baby and that you're not the problem. So this is the assumption that you're not delusional and you're not the issue. If we have a certifiably just wacko boss who's a big time jerk, awful, horrible boss, they're not going to change with a conversation with you. You're not going to go in and go, hey, listen, can I tell you 5 things that make you a horrible boss? They're not going to go, first of all, I didn't know. So thank you for that. Will you please forgive me for being such a world-class jerk? That's never going to happen in a million years. So don't call my show and go, Ken, I've got a just absolutely horrible boss. Help me figure out how to talk to him. No, it's not going to work. Because if they're truly horrible and you go in and tell them, you're gone. And I'm on your team. I'm on Team You. So there you go. That's world-class stuff. Don't forget, we'll change your name. We'll change your location. You can even change the type of work you do. No problem. Madison will coach you up. But I'm saying I want more of these. Let's go. And one other fun thing I'm going to add. If you're no longer in a wacky, crazy situation, but you've got a fun story, how about some of those, Madison? Are we down with that? If people out there are watching and they've come out of a crazy, wacky situation, I mean, just nutty, call us, tell us. We'll let you change your name and location too, but I think it would be fun and entertaining and liberating for other people that are watching in a situation. So there you go. 3 ways to handle that. It's good content. Use it. And we want to hear more from you on those type of things. We'll have some fun with it. It'll be therapy, not just practical help, but we'll have some fun. Because, Joe, I don't mind taking shots at horrible leaders. Because here's one thing I didn't think about. You can take the video of me taking shots at this nameless, anonymous, we don't know who the person is, and you could just drop it in their email. You're gone anyway. It's the passive-aggressive option. I'm your guy. I'll go after just people like this in general, and you can go, hey, listen, just want you to know I watched the show, and this guy was talking about, this is you. You're long gone now. Got the next job. Hey, drop that right in your old inbox. You should watch this. This is you. Pick up at 2 minutes and 27 seconds of this clip. This is what I felt every day of my life. Happy Easter. All right. Fun times. My time is almost up. But before I let you go, I want you to know that you matter and you do have what it takes. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, this is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.